Hello, today I'm joined by my guests, Greg Boxer and Tom Carey from Realyse. How you doing, guys?
Hey David, how you doing? You okay?
Yeah, nice to have you both with us.
Thanks
Um,
for having us.
it's a real pleasure. I told you off camera, I'm a bit of a geek. I love to talk anything that helps estate agents win instructions. It's all that we're about, pretty much. The rest of the stuff we switch off. But the tools that really kind of help us are the bits and pieces that really sort of add to winning us instructions. And I suppose in the last 10 years, perhaps 5 years properly, we've seen this rise in sort of data, property data that is helping estate agents to win instructions. Now, one thing that I've learned using various different AVMs and various different bits of data reports, and there's loads of it out there, so we know there is choice, but there's data and then there's data. Some of it's more accurate, some of it is actually more helpful. So there's the obvious stuff for how much a property sold for, but there's also really interesting stuff going on in the science behind what we call propensity to sell, or people who are actually sort of looking to come to the market. And that's, I guess, what we want to talk to you about today. When we look at Realyse Pulse, how did that come about, and what was the thought behind it?
Sure, yeah. So I think initially, to give you an overview, realize, yes, we're a prop tech company, we're a real estate analytics company. We've built platforms specifically for residential property professionals. So if you want to analyze a land plot or find out planning applications or tracking markets and seeing how things are sort of going from there, to see who owns places, carrying out diligence reports and anything that you can imagine that you are interested in residential data and you want to get an overview and an insight. These are both of our platforms have been able to provide that. Or initially, the first platform has. And now the company, is coming up to 10 years old. Things, exactly like you said, things have evolved in the market. We didn't just want to provide a product to institutional companies, developers, lenders, investors, consultants, estate agents. We wanted to go, and we felt as if David wanted to sell his home, he still needed to get a fantastic amount. Why can't he get fantastic amounts of data for him as an individual selling his home, or David, the self-employed agent, rather than the larger institutional companies? So that's kind of how the model and the idea had first started. Realyse Pulse was basically to democratize property data by giving agents, buyers, sellers access to insights to make an informed decision, basically.
But this isn't just a solution looking for a problem, though, is it? There is a specific pain point that Pulse is going to solve for agents, and what do you feel that is?
I think the main thing here is we don't want to just be another AVM on the market. So it'd be easy for me to say, Pulse helps agents work faster, save money because it's affordable, and also give client answers that they can really trust. But we do feel like those are the kinds of areas where some more traditional AVMs have maybe fallen short. So the Realyse platform is backed by something like 800 different data points. So when you're generating a valuation, you're not just getting a number per se, you're getting like hyper-local market trends, you're getting insights into competitor performance, and also price forecasts, so forward-looking values for sales and for rents as well. And all of that data, it's nice and visual, it's easy to digest, so agents can use it in kind of a workable day-to-day format. Agents can also kind of brand the reports, so add their logos to it and then give their valuations a professional edge. But ultimately, like the data, we want it to speak for itself. And for smaller agencies, the idea is it's supposed to kind of level the playing field. So, smaller agencies, individual agents, they can compete with the bigger firms without the kind of huge cost or complicated setup.
I suppose that's really important these days with the rise of the personal agent. There are more and more. I mean, if you look at the slice of the pie that those so-called self-employed models that are winning these days. That's becoming very, very key. You've got smaller agents that are using tech, and they're trying to sort of get ahead on the same level that corporates have been for ages, but they've got the resource to do it. And I suppose picking up from what you've just said, Tom, one of the nicer things is that you've got not only is it useful for the agent, and it's always great that the agent goes into sort of meetings with clients armed with the best data, but these reports are formatted in such a way that members of the public are ultimately, as Greg said earlier, the beneficiaries of this. They can actually sort of have a look at that data and benefit from it as well. Greg, when you're sort of looking at Pulse then, and you're trying to pick out those key points of differentiation, what really does make it stand out then from the other AVMs on the market today? Because there are numerous AVMs, aren't there?
Yeah, exactly. I think, and it's a good point that you raise. My initial knee jerk here is the sheer amount of data that we are plugging into the platform. It's not just going to give you a sales valuation and say, oh, your home's worth 400 grand. There's a hell of a lot more with it. There's comprehensive comparables from all portals. There is a forecasting model. So agents and sellers, I suppose, from that perspective, and a buyer is saying, yeah, it might be worth 400 grand now, but I wonder what it's going to be worth in 12 months to 24 months ahead, and we're able to forecast and do that as well. So the agent isn't just using it to gain a listing. The agent can actually use that report to secure a sale to maybe a buy-to-let investor, or more maybe someone that is a little bit nervous on pricing as well. So that's where I would say we're completely different here, is mass on data, forecasting model, but we also have a chat bot as well for you to interact with. Which will, again, give you the full insight as to what's happening with the market or that one particular property as well.
I sort of I'm smiling to myself as you're saying that, because what I love about this, and I'm going to date this recording a little bit, guys, so we're going to have to do this again in 6 months' time. But we're talking now in October of 2025. Now, any agent that's working in an October 25 market will know there's a little bit of hesitancy for people to make those decisions, either coming on the market or actually committing to a purchase, because nobody knows what's going to be announced in that November budget. Everybody sort of they've got an idea. The headlines in the papers aren't that helpful, but any information, therefore, that we can get that allows somebody to make sort of predictions for the future, not just based on a whim or what sells a newspaper, but based on reliable data, I think is a winner, isn't it, in this sort of marketplace?
100%.
So looking at Pulse, and in terms of I hate to ask this question. It's a horrible, dirty question, but what it costs and how it works in terms of the commercial model. You mentioned that this is going to allow smaller firms to compete with the bigger boys, as it were. How have you priced this?
Sure. So price-wise, we're more than happy to talk about it. We're quite kind of proud of the price point we've offered for this platform. So first thing to mention, it's available to all agents throughout the UK. The data covers the whole of the UK, so anyone can access it that way. It's free to sign up, so anyone can go on the platform, on the website, sign up. You get 2 free valuations, and you get to kind of play around with some of the tools like the AI chat that Greg mentioned. You can look at competitors in the area, investment search, that kind of thing. And then if you need more valuations and unlimited access to the other tools, we have 2 tiers that are priced at $9.99 a month for the basic package and $19.99 a month for the advanced package. So for $9.99 basic package, you get 10 valuations, and then you get additional features like full access to the AI chat, as well as the nationwide investment search tool. And then finally, if you're on the top advanced package, you get 25 valuations and essentially free reign on all the tools. So, no limits on the data, the downloads, etc. And, like we were saying before, the goal was really to make this as affordable to all, leveling the playing field, for the smaller agencies, but also, like I think you mentioned earlier, for the individual agents, because we know that's a market that's growing, and we want that data to be available to kind of all players.
So that is super affordable. It's also extremely good value for money. I don't need to to go out of my way to say that. That's quite obvious, but it also, I can see there, it allows growth, doesn't it? So if you think you're going to only use it to a certain level because you're only expecting X amount of valuations, but your business is growing and you think you can manage a little bit more. We're not talking massive jumps, are we? For just a little bit more, you get a whole lot more as well. And I think that is that's an awesome way to sort of look at your pricing. We always like to sort of ask for any standout statistics that kind of help us understand whether or not this is something that people are keen on, or if it's a product that's going places. I'm going to read out the one that you guys have sent in, because it is really very impressive indeed. But since your launch in April, since the launch of Pulse, you've seen significant growth with over 1,000 subscribers in just in the first month alone, and an initial sort of 30% month on month growth in estate agent usage. So that's huge. I mean, that demonstrates a massive demand, not just for Pulse itself, which is great for you, but in general, the interest in sort of data-backed AI out there is huge. We're riding the crest of that wave at the moment, aren't we, Greg?
Yeah, and I think on that point, I'll be honest with you, I am a proud ex-agent. There's some people that turn around and say, oh, I don't want to tell them at dinner parties, oh, I am an estate agent, or I used to be an estate agent. I am absolutely a proud estate agent. I loved my time in agency, but because when you're running an agency, you're pulled from pillar to post. You've got a valuation dumped into the diary. You drop everything. You immediately go, and sometimes you go in blind. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you can't help going in blind. Do you know what I mean? Or sometimes your diary is so back to back busy that you're unable to plan for the end of the day. You just plan for your first few valuations. And our model is a pretty simple, straightforward model. Bang in an address. It'll pull you a full report on that property itself. It'll give you the forecasting to it as well. It'll give you everything that you need to know, basically. So it kind of gets you armed and ready before you meet the client. And again, like I said, that valuation that you get back shouldn't just be used pre-visit. It can be used post-visit. It can be used during negotiations. It can be, do you know what I mean? There's so much more that
it can be a nurturing tool as well, can't it? If you're, when you're prospecting, it has so many different uses. It sounds, Greg, like you really wish that this was out there when you were going into people's living rooms and meeting them.
For me, yes, I do, with one element to giving me all of the information on a property quickly. But I know that you're going to come onto it later, or maybe we even just come onto it now.
Yeah,
in terms of, how we think this is a complete unique platform to other models out there or other AVMs, is that, just like you said, the amount of people that are running evaluation, everyone wants to know what their home is worth, regardless of whether they want to sell it now or sell it in a set period of time, or they're just nosy. They might want to go and buy a property and they run a valuation on, oh, I wonder what it's worth. Am I paying the right price for it? But the amount of people that we have had who are not only agents, but also the general public as well, that are running valuations because they're curious, but they probably will sell at some point. We are building a marketplace. So we are now going down the model of, okay, David wants to list his property off market.
Yeah.
And Greg, the estate agent, can contact you and can bid for your listing. And I think that makes it a really interesting model that, let's be honest, you don't want that piece of stock that has been touched by 6-7 agents in the past, and you're the next one to try and hope for it to sell. It might be that golden nugget, that £1 million listing, that 2, 3, 4 million pound listing, or even something that is going to sell very, very quickly because it's close to a school catchment or is unbelievably unique. And we have that data now. We have those sellers who are, oh yeah, I do want to sell it, but I kind of want to be a little bit discreet about it. And naturally, you're going to be the great agent, David, who qualifies all of your buyers and has the hot list, and you're just matching up that perfect buyer to that perfect listing. And that perfect listing might well be on our platform for you to bid against and say, look, I'll charge you X amount because I have a buyer now. And that is the USP for us now, is not just a report, it's not just a forecasting model. We can give the agent leads.
This is now you've got my attention. Okay, this is everything that the agents are looking for. Absolutely everything. In terms of the agents out there that are trying to win listings for the just for the sake of having a board, that's vanity. It doesn't bring any sort of money into the bank, and in the long run, we end up nursing these listings, don't we, through multiple different sort of price cycles until we can get it at a near enough decent amount that we'll find somebody to buy it. And then there are listings that are unique, that are where the owners are motivated sellers, where they know what their price point needs to be, they know where they need to go, they've got a clear mission. And the agent, if they're proactive and they're really sort of working hard, they can come to the fore with a buyer and say, look, this is perfect for me, and this is the reason why I want to work with you. And I think, to me, that is a hell of a lot more dynamic than any other sort of AVM out there at the moment.
Absolutely. It's a
Yeah,
game changer.
that's the goal. I think you can think of Pulse with kind of two hats. On the one side, you've got the AVM with the additional bells and whistles like the AI chat and the investment search and all of that. And then on the other side, it's kind of the ecosystem of leads and users that we have valuing properties that we can pass to agents. So yeah, that's the ultimate end goal, is to kind of turn it into a bit of a marketplace.
Okay. Well, it sounds amazing already. So I almost hate to ask the next question, but what's next? What's on the horizon for Pulse? Where do you go? What does the roadmap look like?
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. So Greg's obviously he's mentioned about the off-market marketplace, which is the most exciting kind of future plan. But we've also got a few more in the nearer future. So we've got a widget that we're just about to release. So agents can just embed the Realyse Pulse widget on their website, and then visitors to their website can, generate a valuation. And that will then capture the lead, the people that are actively valuing the properties in their patch. And again, it goes down to the same idea. It's about giving agents those qualified leads directly, so they don't have to rely on the typical like broad en masse marketing campaigns that they might have had to use in the past. The second thing is, we've obviously mentioned a couple of times about the AI chat as quite a cool new tool where you can obviously use a text prompt like ChatGPT, and our database will spit out a response. And what we're doing is we are enabling API access to that, so agents can
Okay.
plug that into their CRM or whatever internal tools they have. And then I think the kind of third point to mention is we're also partnering with some agency networks. Same idea, qualified leads. People will value a property, as in our users will value a property on Realyse Pulse, and then we'll be able to pass that lead to an agent based on their patch where they operate. So again, it's just leads. Leads is essentially the kind of future goal here.
Fascinating stuff. And I take it, for anybody that wants to see how this sort of works in action, how it looks, and more importantly, what the public are going to see when you produce those reports and when you're using the system. You can jump on a demo with Greg or Tom, and you walk the agent through. They've got a world of knowledge, as you can see. Nice, friendly guys. They're not just putting it on for the cameras today. They are helpful. Genuinely want to build solutions that help you win as an agent. Greg and Tom, thank you very much.
Pleasure. Thanks, David.
Great to meet you, David. Just one final thing to note as well. Should have mentioned it earlier on price, but we have released a unique kerfuffle sign-up link. So anyone from the network that wants to sign up on the free plan, you'll get an extra 10 free valuations. So we hope it's enough for you to really try out the platform and get stuck in and hopefully see some value.
That's a great reason to sign up through Kerfuffle, and a great bonus. Give it a go. You got absolutely nothing to lose on that kind of model, and we'll see where it goes. I may even give it a go myself. So watch this space. All right, take care. Thank you.
Thanks, David. Bye bye.